For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Why do we tolerate the rude behavior of some of our politicians? Also coming up, the treatment being meted out to leaders of the opposition. And of course, we have a whole lot more, including your calls at 452-2979. That's 452-2979. Your WhatsApp messages, 716-2026, and that is 716-2026. Kimani will be going through some of your comments in the chat room. We hope that you had yourself a safe and enjoyable weekend. Most of you back at work, some of you on vacation. Students are back in the classroom after their long Easter break, and for most of us, things are back to normal. Well, we're back at it in terms of discussing those critical issues of importance to us as a people and, of course, as a nation. And we continue to embark upon a course of action that is aimed at creating positive change in our country of 2 Nobel laureates. Now, you imagine how much progress we should have made since we have 2 Nobel laureates. Derek Walcott and Arthur Lewis. But that is something that is subject to immense scrutiny and discussion. Whether we have lived up to our reputation as a country that has produced individuals of a certain caliber in terms of their academic achievement, in terms of their prowess in so many areas where they have served with extinction, not only in St. Lucia, but the region and also internationally. But we have a lot more growing up to do based on the behavior of some people in our country and also their racist utterances. Which takes me to an interview I conducted last week with activist and politician Felicia Brown, who is based in Barbados. And one of the questions I posed to her, in light of that backward and disappointing statement that was made by Sir Calix George Sr., is why are we tolerating the bad behavior that is being exhibited by some of our politicians? And listen to her response.
It is tolerated because I think it causes division. They have persons that may follow certain types of leadership styles. Some believe that the more aggressive that you are, then the better that your words and I guess your positions become out. But we need to change that style of politics. We need to educate people about policies, about the positions, about the legislations that are being passed, as opposed to getting people to attack people. I think that's the lowest things that we can do in terms of how we allow people to elevate, how to empower people. You're not teaching them anything that is useful for them, that will empower them. What you're teaching them is to go ahead and attack politicians here and there and bully people and malign people. This is not the way that we expect leaders in high offices to display behaviors and to be of good character. We have young persons recognizing and seeing the kinds of behavior that is, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of young people are discouraged by politics. That's why a lot of young people do not engage in political discussions, because of what they see. And we have to change that. We have to change the way we perceive politics, the way that we see politicians, the ways we see how legislations and laws are being drafted, and try to remove the personal attacks. Because once you do that, you're developing animosity, division, which is what we don't need right now in our country.
I just heard there from Miss Felicia Brown. I interviewed her last week during our NewsSpin broadcast. Let me hear from you right now at 452-2979. That's 452-2979. Please send me your WhatsApp messages, 716-2026, 716-2026. In the United States, in Europe, etc., what you have is the cancel culture. You say certain things that are deemed to be offensive, say certain things that are unacceptable, and you will face the wrath of the system. Whether it is Hollywood, whether it is advertisers, and you are forced to apologize. You are forced to demonstrate a change of behavior and attitude. But in the case of St. Lucia, when you do such things, you are rewarded, either with votes or with adulation from a certain section of the St. Lucian society. So a lot of what is happening in our country at this point in time, it is because it is being embraced by certain sections of the society, and we are so hypocritical. I mean, somebody made a statement that is so offensive when that individual said that Alan Chastney is a slave master and his supporters are house slaves. Those same people are very critical of yours truly when I made a statement a little over, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks now pertaining to Haiti. Those people are quiet. They are not in the talk shows calling on Sir Calix George Sr. to apologize. They don't believe that his statement was offensive. They don't believe that this will come to haunt him. Quiet. They are quiet. They are quiet. Your calls, once again, 452-2979, and your WhatsApp messages. Let me see if I have some of your messages to go through. Somebody says there via WhatsApp, and that WhatsApp was sent to me on Friday. It reads, retrogressive. Going or directed backward. B, declining from a better to a worse state. C, passing from a higher to a lower level. Calix George's statement is retrogressive. So, Tim, referencing Jamaica, the land of Marcus Garvey and Bob Marley, where there have been white prime ministers, were the party members all house slaves? Shaking my head. Can't compare St. Lucia with Jamaica in terms of the ability of people to dissect issues and to discuss those issues intellectually without being abusive and without being emotional. Just addressing those issues in a very mature manner, because there's a large section of the society, the commentariat, the intellectuals, definitely they will tear you apart. But in the case of St. Lucia, either those who have the capacity to do it are too scared, or they want to protect themselves against the wrath of certain leaders in our country and our society, or they just do not care. They don't give a damn, okay? And they choose deliberately who they want to take to task, the issues that they want to address, the attacks that they want to launch, and it depends on who they want to fire their salvo at for whatever reason or reasons. Good afternoon to you, Kimani. Hope you had yourself a great weekend.
I did. Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, ma'am. What is in the chat room? I understand that you attended a particular show. Yeah, you have an update?
It was very entertaining. It was fun. I enjoyed myself quite a bit.
I could just imagine. What's in the chat room?
In the chat room, someone says, Felicia Brown didn't give the true reason why we allow such behavior from politicians. It is because people allow it, and they only allow it because of political affiliation and attachment to parties. Another comment in the chat, someone says, Tim, why are you calling him sir? It's Calix George. Because if it's on that route he wants to go, then he is not sir. The person who knighted him is not his complexion. Another comment in the chat.
By the way, that knighthood, he received that knighthood in the year 2022. Knight Commander of the Order of St. Lucia for exceptional and outstanding service of national importance to the island.
And money we are paying, it should be 10 years. That's it in the chat.
Thank you so much, and some of your responses. A complete overhaul of leaders, a clear and concise plan to reduce the national debt, accepting that it requires a certain level of sacrifice on a national level. There's been over $1 billion in loans, and I'm yet to see the difference. Going after crooked politicians is a farce. Not only entity is prepared to do it, no one entity is prepared to do it. Time to press the reset button. Another person says, honest leaders, another reaction. Throw all our current members of civil society back into the public and start fresh. Corruption is too rife in our country. Another comment, honesty from a lot of people. And some of your reaction once again, when politicians stop thieving our money. Another one says, you very well know that corruption in government is near impossible to prove. That's why people like so-and-so confidently beats his chest while challenging the government to prove it. Another person says, why are you excluding? Okay, let's see. All right, we have to avoid the name calling. So somebody responds, I said corruption in politics, and yet that includes a number of individuals. Some of your responses to our NewsSpin question of the day, which is, what will it take for St. Lucia to be managed efficiently? We have a call in line as we say hello and good afternoon
Bon
to you.
après-midi, monsieur Tim.
Yes, bon après-midi, monsieur.
Et puis bon après-midi, Kimani, et puis tout le monde qui t'a écouté.
Bon après-midi.
Eh bien, Tim, moi, comme citoyen pays, ça va. Moi, quand crié à sous Premier ministre ici, Philippe J. Pierre, pour fire Richard Frederick. Raison pour qui moi fait statement ça la Tim. Les jeunes Madame Afrique la descend, Madame Fortuna Belwaz te fait un statement à sous situation. Et puis Richard Frederick, comme ministre gouvernement, aller à sous NBC et puis insulter Madame Fortuna Belwaz. Bon, nous ne pouvons pas tolérer un homme gouvernement, l'argent nous qui a payé tous les mois, au lieu pour y mener travail à pays, au lieu pour y venir dire nous comment y a gouvernement qui a fait soulever crime, nous avons payé non salaire en salaire pour venir attaquer citoyen pays ça là. Nous avons payé Philippe J. Pierre, aussi même pour y faire Richard. Si pas ça, moi, je crié sur tout le monde ici, pour nous savoir là où il y a pour nous Richard quitter politique cette ici c'est ça moi qui quitter après-midi et moi est si même ça là pour moi Richard Frederick rien quoi ça ya parce qu'il y a lâche de respecter citoyen pays ça là merci monsieur
grâce à pas péditeur ou quoi ça qu'a jamais fait encore là hello all right we lost the caller but he in case you can't understand Creole he's asking the Prime Minister to fire his local government minister because of statements he made about former government minister Fortuna Belrose and making reference to the fact that she does not have hair, etc. Don't expect that this will ever happen because it is all about one, protecting the victory, and it is all about maintaining your lead in terms of the number of government elected MPs. And the Prime Minister knows that for whatever reason, if he decides to fire Richard Frederick, what will be the outcome? Then Richard will be aiming all his salvos at the Prime Minister and at the St. Lucia Labour Party administration because Richard Frederick is a one-man army. Let's take a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Tim, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
Tim, what do you call like I will bon Dieu vini sa pa ifet. Ba isa pa ka ifet. Tim, good afternoon, Kimani as well, sorry.
Good afternoon.
Tim, there is an investigation at the Ministry of Infrastructure. You heard about that?
But concerning what?
Concerning the false license in given all over the place.
I don't know it's at the Ministry of Infrastructure. I think it's at the level of the Traffic Department of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. But it might involve the Transport Department as well.
Now, I think the police have promised an a report after that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know the ones they tell you to investigate. I mean, that is something. Just call it that's it. But we also learned that the one person was fired there.
No.
Oh. Because I was very careful about it. But I
think the issue, people are talking about it quietly, but I think somebody's contract was not renewed, and there's a big difference.
So we know who's that person? That person is?
I mean, I don't think we should go into names, calling of names, but somebody, because you see, it happens all the time. Your contract is up for renewal, it is not renewed. It does not make the news. I don't see why that one should make the news.
Okay. But I'm just careful asking the question because I know it is, I mean, we need to know because these persons, as you know, the taxpayers are the one pay everything that is happening there. I mean, it's up to us. We have to know. These people are taxpayers. We're paying them. We're paying them a salary to be where they are. So when something I don't know why we like to keep everything undercover secret and make it a secret thing. It can't be secret. Now, the statement made by, I don't want to dwell on that, but then by Calix George. And I think the leader of the opposition did explain that Friday and say exactly who Calix is. But then what really surprised me is that you can receive a knighthood almost like you getting that from the Queen, right? That's not from the Queen they're getting that?
That one is from St. Lucia. As I said, it's the commander of the Order of St. Lucia. But we know what that connotes. You know, it's coming from the white people. It's coming from England.
So if we get something, I mean, from the white people, but I just cannot understand.
And you'll be hearing from Calix George as well because he's crediting the white people for his education at St. Mary's College. I came across an interview as making reference to one brother Canis Collins, and he says that that's the first person to bring science education into St. Lucia. You're saying?
Yeah, so what I'm saying, sorry, I mean, we get that from already white people have a part to play in it, in as much as the white people have a part to play in it, right? But then, again, you know, it worries me when we can go solo. I mean, solo as we're talking about senior person that have experience, person that have served in this country, person who's supposed to see, you know, things go right, especially presently with what we are facing there with the crime situation. And to go now and open another can, you know, like that, to open something like that, I don't think that is right at all. I think we don't want to lose focus on what is happening right now in our country, because we are asking the question times after time, who is in charge of St. Lucia? Who is calling the shot? Because the more we hear negatives, in terms of the crime and even corruption sometimes, we don't have nobody who could come and speak on behalf of the nation, say, I want this to be stopped, and I'm working whatever it is to see that something like that need to be under control. And more, as though this person clearly just want to distract the nation, the people on the reality that is on the ground. With all those figures that is unaccepted about unemployment, so how so good it is, almost like you manufacturing something to make your government look good. And the reality on the ground, that is not the case. St. Lucia is in a mess. St. Lucia is totally, when it comes to both unemployment and crime, is in a total mess. And tell us the truth. We know the truth. We know what it is. We on the ground, not you come in and just print something and make it look good, just to make yourself look good. Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. What's in the chat room, Kimani? Anything to report on?
Someone says, Tim, remember when you made the news when your contract was terminated or not renewed? Why not see the name? Another comment, but I cannot understand this caller. Wasn't it Fortuna who attacked Mr. Frederick? It's Mr. Frederick is human, so he should... Can't finish this contribution. Another comment, that's our problem in this country. We refuse to call a spade a spade. We like to tiptoe. One day our toe will give away. Another contribution in the chat. Someone says... Politics is a science. We ought to play chess and not checkers. Keep the burning, my UWP family. That's it, Tim.
Thank you so much. Some more of your WhatsApp messages and, of course, your discussions in the chat room. Somebody says there, Boris Johnson, the English Prime Minister, got fired for violating COVID restriction, while in St. Lucia, those people got rewarded. So on the point, you won't expect anything better from the SLP administration. Where are the civil society organizations right now? And remember, we cannot take your WhatsApp calls, unfortunately, but I'd like you to send us your WhatsApp messages. Somebody says there, Tim, have you all seen the list of the kind of phrase you cannot say to people when you are in St. Lucia? If you use those phrases, you are sure to get murdered or killed. And another WhatsApp message. Somebody says there, good day. We have too many hypocrites in St. Lucia. And let's see if we have some more of your messages to go through. Keep sending me those messages once again to 716-2026. That's 716-2026. Let us hear from Sir Calix George Sr., making reference to the education he got his formative years at the St. Mary's College, and crediting one brother, Canis Collins, for being the first person to bring science education into St. Lucia. This is against the background of, us having a tendency to want to divide the country along racial lines. Who is white and who is black? And one of the person going as far as saying that we don't want a white prime minister. What we want is a black prime minister. But the world right now certainly requires all races, every gender, to be given equal opportunity to make their contribution, not only to the respective jurisdictions or countries, but to the human race. And people ought not to be judged on the color of their skin, as Dr. Martin Luther King said, but on their character. And in terms of politics, you may disagree with somebody in terms of their ideology, in terms of their policies, in terms of their programs and the ideas that are being formulated and presented as far as the development of our country and society is concerned. But it ought not to be you castigating somebody not on the basis of their height, not on the basis of the color of their skin, not on the basis of whether they have an accent or not, or whether they're from Marshall or whether they're from Rodney Bay. It is high time that we elevate the discussion so that people can truly say that, it's not because of an accident or haphazardly that we produced 2 Nobel laureates. This was methodical. It says something about how we are nurtured as people, our background, our ability to grasp this and different concepts, our ability to learn, our ability to be great thinkers. That's why we produce those 2 people. But I imagine that if Sir Derek Walcott and Sir Arthur Lewis were alive today, and they would be following what happens in the nation's parliament, what passes for discussions in our country, and the mépris that some people are being subjected to and others are spewing, I am sure that those 2 gentlemen would be prepared to say that, my God, we are not making any kind of progress at all, and they would be in a state of shock and disbelief that this is the St. Lucia that they grew up in. Let us listen now to Sir Calix George speaking about the first person to bring science education into St. Lucia, and that is Brother Canis Collins. And he was speaking with Philip Sidney of the Ministry of Agriculture on his program On the Field.
It so happened that we had an excellent headmaster called Brother Canis Collins, who was very perceptive and kind of trained. In the first instance, he was the first person to actually bring science education into St. Lucia. Before that time, St. Mary's College was a classical college.
Okay.
And he introduced science. And he was instrumental in infusing a science orientation into our head, and also of its importance to agriculture, because agriculture was the bedrock of the economy of St. Lucia. So he actually trained us and advised us to move in that direction. Okay. So you will find, if you look at the records of St. Mary's College, which incidentally I wrote a treatise on.
Yes.
And you will find in there how he infused the whole issue of agricultural development into us. The result was that scores of us eventually went into agriculture. For example, the first one was a gentleman by the name of Louis Campbell, Francis Leons, Dr. Edmonds, and so on, who came in before me. All these guys eventually became very key people in the development of St. Lucia.
Wow.
The whole development of St. Lucia. You can say that the development of St. Lucia at the critical time of the agricultural expansion in terms of bananas was in fact due to a significant extent Brother Canis's influence on us.
So Calix George is speaking to Philip Sidney on his program On the Field, and speaking about the first person to bring science education into St. Lucia. I think it was a white man from Europe. This is the most monitored talk show in the world, and it is called NewsSpin. We continue with your calls at 452-2979. That's 452-2979. And your WhatsApp messages, 716-2026, 716-2026. Still to come on the broadcast, promoting tourism and, recognizing the fact that it continues to make positive contributions to the development of our country and, of course, its citizens, but looking at the implications of not protecting this vital industry and also not securing the island's reputation, because we all know that over the last few years we have just recorded too many homicides. And if we do not control this problem, what awaits us as a people and how much of a damage it can do to the island's vital but fragile tourism industry.
It all started with a penny. For 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Lucilex remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593, 285-3329, or 285-8640. Or send an email to customersupport@lucilec.com for assistance. Lucilec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
Get ready to turn up the heat with KFC's blazing Burn-A-Box deal. For only $30, you'll feast on 2 succulent chicken pieces. Dive into the exclusive new Bacon Melt sandwich, savor crispy regular fries, and wash it all down with a refreshing regular drink. But wait, tune into the radio and keep an eye on social media for limited discount tickets and ticket giveaways to see Burna Boy on May 3rd. One lucky winner and 3 friends will snag VIP and backstage passes. Just grab your Burna box, jot your name and number on the receipt, and drop it in the box provided for your chance to win. Ignite your taste adventure with KFC's Burna Box today.
In these modern times, the field of medicine has become so advanced that no one has to suffer any longer before they can be seen by a specialist doctor. Clinic proud to be the only healthcare provider in St. Lucia to offer the best and most experienced specialist doctors who are capable to first correctly diagnose and then successfully treat health conditions such as chronic back pain, spinal injury, sciatica, numbness, lupus, arthritis, joint pain, facial nerve pain, knee, heel and shoulder pain, cramps and carpal tunnel syndrome. Also available at La Clinique de Corps, complete nerve tests to detect nerve injury or muscle disease. All health insurances are accepted at La Clinique de Corps. So walk again pain-free with La Clinique de Corps. To book an appointment, please call 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950.
Catch the new vibe and the lingo. More upon more so the tingo. Is more with flow if you didn't know. All these deals is a winner. More upon more with flow. More data, more talk for sure. More WhatsApp, video, can't stop. Unlimited talk, so you not stop chat.
Flow prepaid combo plans just got better. Loaded with even more data and unlimited talk. Take advantage of WhatsApp and all its features with our new prepaid plans. Unleash your creativity with more social media. Dial *129 $ to activate.
Now that's the new vibe and the lingo. Yes. More upon more, say the tingo. It's more with flow, now you really know. Get you now. All these deals make you save more. Get more.
Night Meds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come, Visit Sadu's gas station on the Miko Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. NightMeds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
Automotive art is a place to start. Automotive art is a place to start.
Yeah, look, check. We got a wide range of products that are automotive and do-it-yourself supplies if you got a moment. Smart staff that'll always know it. Got rims and tires from trucks to high performance to off-roading. Start here, tools, batteries, oil, and car care.
Automotive art is a place to start.
Cause when we roll, we don't roll alone.
Super Jazz, the ultimate experience. On the fringe of St. Lucia Jazz, yet taking main focus is Super Jazz, the ultimate experience. Featuring Taunton legend, Future Lights, Robsai and Finesse, TYP, Ricky T, Jennison John, Headliners, Nyla Blackman. Skinny Fabulous, Taurus Riley,
She's royal, yeah, so royal.
presented by the Sufra Event Management Organization. Sunday, May 5th at the Sufra Mini Stadium from 3 p.m. General admission $130 EC, VIP $400 EC. Get your tickets at fourcirclestickets.com. SRDF, The Cell, Sufra Jazz, the ultimate experience.
Hey guys, guess what? Because your dad deserves more, Europa is giving more. They're bringing back the wow on Friday, June 14th with the very popular Culture Day for Father's Day. Last year was a blast and this year will be explosive. So fathers, stepfathers, grandfathers, all the dads of St. Lucia and all the moms who stand for dad, we are knocking out 15% discount on all pressure washers, vacuum cleaners, upholstery cleaners, in fact, on all carton machines. And that's not all. Better impact drills, rotary hammer drills, power saws, jigsaws, and so this year we are throwing the kitchen sink out for dads.
Miss, ça non vle encore. Pour les demi.
June 14th. I'm not.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world, and we continue with your calls at 452-2979, 452-2979, and please send me your WhatsApp messages, 716-2026, 716-2026. Somebody says that, Tim, I'm at the Transport Board V4. The lines are long and people are standing there more than an hour. To make matters worse, there is only one washroom for the staff. If you leave and go, you miss your spot. Don't know why people don't understand that irrespective of whether it's the public sector or the private sector, the focus, the emphasis has to be on the quality of service that you're providing to your people. And you must cease taking people for granted. Try to ensure that people are as comfortable as possible when they enter your premises and when you are providing a service, because people will talk about those things. They'll talk about the experience that they had when they went to the transport board over in V4 and how they were taken care of. And also, that department should be aware of anticipate some of the challenges that they're going to experience from time to time, particularly in some cases on a Monday. You know that most people are going to come in to renew their licenses or to apply for new licenses or pay vehicle licenses, etc., etc. I think sometimes maybe some service providers just revel in the fact that they could put their customers through this misery. They're celebrating the fact that they could bring discomfort, and misery to people who are depending on them for a service. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Timothy, a pleasant good afternoon to you and your listeners all over the world. PW on the line, Timothy. Timothy, for the last few days and weeks, I have been listening to some of your callers, those that have had a college education, those that have had a university education. But I'm beginning to think, Timothy, that those that have a college education and university education comes on this program and they talk foolishness, Timothy. You know, Calix George need to pay a price for inciting racial division in our country. Very soon, he will attack the Indians of the country, the coolies in St. Lucia. We have to take a stand. Calix George needs to pay a price. He needs to know a large percentage of this country has an IQ level of 86.5%. And I am saying to the
where did you get that from? Where did you get that from, Colin?
Well, Timothy, I'm a member of the IQ Knowledgeable Club. Well educated. And Calix George needs to know that I am going to circulate a petition this afternoon, starting from this afternoon. And if you read that because of his racial statement, he's trying to incite racial division among, you know, the business people of St. Lucia, the so-called local whites, and the Indians of St. Lucia. This is what he's trying to do. We are going to circulate a petition saying, let the name of Calix George be taken off every plaque on every building he officially opened. Let the name of Calix George be taken off every street he was named after. And let the name of Calix George be remembered as one of the most racist politicians in simply beautiful St. Lucia. Tell him I know what is the color of a slave master. This is the color of a slave master. When he was in government and he did nothing about the affordable wage, and when people are working for $2 an hour, and he was in government, he said nothing about when his government taxed St. Lucians to the last dollar that they earn. And we have to do the same to Richard Frederick. I am talking to the people that are voiceless and cannot talk today. And for those of you who work in the cruise ship industry, the hotels, the historical sites, you taxi drivers, Calix George just said that you're a house slave. Don't blame me, blame Calix George. He needs to pay a price, and he needs to pay a heavy price for his for inciting racial division in this country. Timothy, I thank you.
Thank you so much for calling, sir. WhatsApp message, somebody says, the person who said, who spoke about the line at the transport department in V4 is very long. They can use the V4 Innovation Career Development Center in town and also Miku Innovation Career Development Center. They do provide the services that are being provided at the transport department over in V4. They can also use the DigiGov platform and do their transaction in the comfort of their home. 452-2979, that's 452-2979. Your WhatsApp messages, 716-2026. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, sir, and the madam with you.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon.
Sir, there's a lot of people are talking about they do not understand or hear what Kai George said the last time. Would you mind play us the clip again, please?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. You're welcome, sir. Thank you so much for calling. So we'll play that clip that some of you have deemed to be offensive, and that comment was made by former government minister Calix George last Thursday on the NBC program, Can I Help You?
You know that a man that hates the house slaves.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
I got into trouble particularly with Rick Wayne when I was doing the Telecommunications Act, and I called a certain person a house slave because she was acting just like a house slave on behalf of Cable and Wireless. So what you have there now in St. Lucia is a slave master with a whole set of house slaves in the United Workers' Party.
So we played a comment for you for the benefit of those of you who have not heard it. Comments made last Thursday by Sir Calix George. We have a call. This is NewsSpin. Good afternoon. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim. How are you doing?
I'm okay, caller. Good afternoon to you.
Tim, I want to concur with PW. His statements or what he said makes so much sense. Calix George cannot afford to get away with this racist comment that he made last week Thursday. Even the hosts of the show, Richard Frederick and Albert Fridges, have a price to pay. You know why, Tim? They endorsed the statement. They encouraged it. They laughed. And NBC, should have been a more responsible television station, should have come out and denounced or condemned the statement. The Labour Party, as a political organization, which Calix George is a card-bearing, long-standing member, but the Labour Party endorsed those statements. Hence the reason why you have not heard one official press release condemning the racist.
Hello? Okay, we have lost the caller. 452-2979. Once again, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp messages, 716-2026.
Hey, good afternoon. Tim, I hope you could, I hope they are able to rectify the WhatsApp number very soon, because, that's the way the diaspora contacts you. And, we have a very engaged diaspora that depend on your show to stay in touch with what's happening in St. Lucia. So I hope that could be rectified soon. So, Tim, I'm calling because I think I cannot say silence in my comfort zone. I cannot say silent when a government minister continues to use his talk show to berate citizens, and especially women. Tim, I have to add my voice to the growing chorus of people calling for this minister to be disciplined or to be removed from his position. Tim, there has been many, many, many cases. You have been attacked, I have been attacked. Many people have been attacked on that show in a most derogatory way. The most recent being former Minister Fortuna Belrose and a vendor from Castries, Jocelyn. And Tim, the problem with that is that the minister, instead of addressing issues, because citizens have the right to challenge any government minister or the government on issues they're concerned about. If they want to respond, use formal channels, use official channels, use a press release, use a formal statement. But instead, this minister goes onto his talk show to berate people, to put out information that should be classified government information or privileged government information just to embarrass people. Like, in what world, in what democracy is that allowed? And we are so light as citizens. We are so light on that. We're not taking this seriously. This is a very serious matter. I don't know where else that could happen. And when you have people making all sorts of silly excuses about he's human, as if giving him a pass because he's quote-unquote human, he's supposed to behave in the most derogatory manner. There is a higher standard and higher obligation and higher responsibility on a government minister to address things properly than the average citizen. Two citizens can go back and forth and make each other, and that's irrelevant. As a government minister, the standard and the expectation is higher, and the level of response that is required is higher. It is unacceptable that this minister be allowed to use his talk show to do what he is doing there, to embarrass, belittle, intimidate, and humiliate people with no repercussions, Tim. Tim, I am calling on the Prime Minister to address this, and I'm calling on all citizens of St. Lucia. Whether you support the minister or not, that is wrong. That is wrong and it can never be right. This is not two St. Lucians going back and forth and teammating each other. That is a government minister. Tim, I'm asking people to raise their collective voices to denounce this behavior. Thank you, Tim, for allowing me to use your platform.
You're welcome, ma'am. 452-2979, 452-2979. Kimani, the chat room, you monitoring? Anything happening there worth reporting?
Someone says empty barrels make the most noise. Another comment, someone says they're tired of St. Lucia. Someone says, let us know, is a translation needed, but caller, the UWP... Oh, wait. Another comment, I really don't understand why public servants' name shouldn't be monitored when the ordinary man's name is always mentioned. After all, they are public servants. We have a right to know. Someone else says, didn't Kenny say that anything can happen in politics? Are people doing anything about it? Whether the honor was bestowed by St. Lucia or England, the honor of knighthood is a Eurocentric practice that symbolizes superiority. This practice is not of the Caribbean, but rather a practice we retain from our colonial past. That's it in the chat.
Thank you so much. WhatsApp message. The level of disrespect the members of parliament spew out towards the people is unbelievable. Can you believe that right before and during elections, the way these guys, they beg, cry for the people, asking for a chance, and as soon as they win, you can't find them, can't talk to them. The fellas there like it's a favor they're doing you. The problem is the people, the electorate, the civil service workers, St. Lucians. They're afraid of their skin. And I feel sorry for the communities in the outskirts like canaries shaking my head.
Someone says St. Lucia is in love with this.
Another WhatsApp message. Somebody says, crudeness and vulgarity have no place in a civilized country. We are just simply too crude and vulgar in St. Lucia. We the people must demand better, and the political parties must establish ethical and acceptable standards for the representatives. The behavior in the House of Assembly leaves so much to be desired. Sometimes I refer to it as the house of pettiness and insult. Why do we find insults to be so attractive? The nation cannot advance with that level of internal strife. Part of the solution is for the two major political parties to establish standards, and we the people must demand their enforcement. What a shame in 2024. St. Lucia does not have a racial problem. We have invented one. It is to win another election. Shame on all those who should know better. Do we have a call? 452-2979, 452-2979. No, we don't, but I suspect we'll get one anytime from now. In the meantime, allow me to go through another WhatsApp message. I think the SLP should remove the color white in our national flag, which represents the people, and put red, which is to represent the SLP. Okay, we have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Hi, team. Hi, good afternoon.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon to you.
Hi, team. I heard a lady called, or was it a message you read, regarding the passport for 10 years. I'm in total agreement with that. And I'm not sure why St. Lucians have a passport for 5 years. As far as I'm aware, the other islands, they all have a passport for 10 years, unless somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. Why do we have a passport for only 5 years? I mean, that's ridiculous. So irrespective of which government is in power, we should have a passport for 10 years. And if it takes for me to write a petition, I'm going to do it, Tim.
I believe the Home Affairs Minister addressed it and said it was for security concerns, right, Tim?
I don't know it has anything to do. I don't think it has anything to do with security concerns.
Neither do I, Tim.
Mentioning that about when questioned about it.
So the other islands, they don't have a security reason as well. They have it for 10 years. You know, so like I said, if it takes me to do a petition for 10 years, irrespective of which government is in power. Because you know how much money you have to spend, Tim? $250 by two. Whilst the other islands, they are paying maybe $300 or $250 and they get it for 10 years. You know, that's ridiculous. Also, any news on the outcome of the investigation into, what's the name of the company, Briefcase? As the minister said she was going to do an investigation. Any word on that?
Well, I have not heard from Dr. Poyot on this, and I think Dr. Poyot is still on sick leave. But the investigation should have been completed by now, eh?
Exactly, yeah. So that's dead. Team, the passport office, they moved. their functions and the days that they are doing deliveries still remains the same. So my question is, are they understaffed? Why you only have 3 days to deliver and 2 days to collect your passport? Are they understaffed? What is going on? Because you would think that they changed to a new location and the situation would have improved dramatically. So again...
So you're just transferring the problem, that's all.
Exactly. Just move from one location to the next. Team, I'm not sure what's going on with the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice, I think, under Joachim Henry. Team, I have been trying to get help for an elderly lady in the South for over 7 months. I have been going to that particular ministry, and I'm being told, come back next month. We have not started registering. Come back next 2 months. We have not started registering. And every time I go to them, I was there last week, and it's the same thing over 7 months. So my question is, when will they start registering? I was told that they are short-staffed. Again, you can do your own investigation. I was told there's just about 3 or 4 members, staff members, to man the entire island. Right? So that is ridiculous. So again, like I said, you can conduct your own investigation and see whether that is true or not. Team, I think most businesses in St. Lucia take us for granted. You go to the Bank of St. Lucia, I'll mention their names. They have 3 ATMs, only 1 ATM is functioning. You go to Republic Bank, there are 4 ATMs, only 1 ATM is functioning. And this is like end of month, beginning of month on a Friday, like it's going towards a bank holiday. Team, I find that is disrespect to us, the public of St. Lucia. And I think it's time that they do something better. Also, Lucy Lectim, when is the new office going to be open? Because I heard it was coming, and now there's nothing.
What's the latest on that,
again, my question is, when will the office in town be relocated?
I think the office has been relocated and is functioning,
It
Yes.
is?
Yeah.
Okay, because I went there like a couple of months ago, and I was told that they were not operational as yet.
It is.
It is. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you so much. I will check them out because I do have to go there.
Yeah.
Team, just one more thing. The government said that GPH created employment for St. Lucians. To this point, I think 99% of St. Lucians do not know what deal the government went into with GPH. If GPH has created employment for the populace of St. Lucia, I would like to know how many persons are employed with GPH. Because, like I said, I don't know what they're doing. Nobody knows what the deal is. So if so many people are employed, please let us know in what capacity and how many persons are employed with GPH. Thank you, team.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for calling the broadcast. Some more of your calls at 452-2979, 452-2979. We have a WhatsApp message. Somebody says there, first, Peter Josie, now Calix George, be careful with the condemnations and calls for apologies. We have another call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim. The lady is right about the Lucy.
Yes, I just got a message. Somebody says that the new office is not open yet. Yeah, it's not open
because
yet.
I went there to do something and they referred me to Rodney Bay.
Mm-hmm.
They referred me to Rodney, so they're not functioning as yet.
Okay.
So I think they should put an advisory on that because they've been advertising it and asking people to come there. There was a whole hue and cry on that and everything, and it would be easier for people. But when you leave your office from where I work down on the other side to come up to Cass Trees to get it done, and when you reach the area, you have to go up north again, and it's a deadline thing where you're into construction and you have to get the continuance, and it's like what? They should at least let people know, give an idea as to when, or for now it's not functional.
Thank you so much for calling. Yeah, okay, thank you. But I just got confirmation. Somebody sent me confirmation that the office is not yet opened, right? So it's not functioning. 452-2979. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Hey, good day, Tim. How are you doing?
I'm okay, caller. How about you?
I'm doing great, thank you. Tim, it's just something that's amazing for me, and if politicians, whether the political spectrum, are really for the people, I think the Constitution is something that they would definitely pay attention to and really try to put in order. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm saying that in regards to, when you look at local government, I think local government is something these guys need to pay attention to, Tim, because a lot of communities have been disadvantaged, a lot of communities have been left out, a lot of communities have been left behind. And we're not talking about now, we're talking about consecutive governments and parties, whatever it may be. So I am saying, for example, if you instigate that whole local government policy thing, Tim, where people from a community could vote for their village councils and village councils.
You really believe that will make a difference? Don't you think that
will be...
I think the difference... Don't you think that will be another layer of bureaucracy in St. Lucia?
I mean, what are we trying to do? We see with the whole bureaucracy
we have
thing...
We have town and village councils.
Listen to that. Just listen to that. Let me just get my message, my point across there.
Yeah.
Look at how with the whole bureaucracy thing, we saw what happened when COVID came. A lot of the norms and the ways of which these things were tackled had to be put behind the back. So we could do that, So these things could change if we really want to see change. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the reason I'm saying that in regards to local government, if I am from a community and I vote for my local government, one of the things would be you wouldn't get a village council when Labour win is Labour alone or where Flubber win is Flubber alone. That doesn't show any form of inclusion or anything like that. And that has been going on for years. You understand? So you would get the diversity in that. You understand what I'm saying? Now, with all the bubbles and all the stealing and all the money that getting and people if in my community I vote for that chairperson and the council is mixed, however it is, we the villagers, we are very aware of what's happening in our community and we could directly hold them responsible. All would be in hand is a lot of bubble happening with that minister, guy over there, this one over there, Shastny over there, and PJP over there, and nothing is happening.
But you have to be careful. You're talking about bubble and calling people names, okay? Because
but these are the names that have been calling all around. I'm just calling the name that I'm used to hearing things.
Yeah, they're calling calypsos and songs, etc.
But that's what I'm saying. So that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yes, sir. We have to be extremely careful. They remain allegations, eh? We have no way of proving
well, the allegations
are involved in any corrupt
on a community level, on a village local government level, the allegations, we would be better equipped to investigate them. It wouldn't take so much of government funds and all of that to investigate these allegations, and everything just remains an allegation. But how do we pay attention to the communities on the outskirts? When you have things happening in Castries, all these other communities that are deemed, better communities in whatever sense or way. These are the communities that have been paid attention to. These are the communities, whatever pilot projects there are, they do it in this. Like some communities get, Tim, I'm from Canaries. Listen, from the time I know myself, there was bananas. Canaries never benefited from bananas. Sugarcane, look tourism now. You understand what I'm saying? There is absolutely nothing, and nobody can come and talk about, one party and the next. We had a minister that was a minister of tourism. We've had some prominent people represent us. But what? Now, we as the villagers, especially somebody like me, Tim, we have called, tried to get in touch, tried to put forward plans and proposals and things that could bring the community forward, but they don't pay attention to it, Tim. Now, in cases like that, they watch the messenger and not the message. You understand what I'm saying? And this is what that kind of gets to me. We have kids growing up, Tim. These places, we could control them because there's not much a high rate of crime, but it's not going to be so forever if we don't pay attention to them. So what do we really want? What are we really trying to achieve? You understand? Have a nice day, sir.
You too, sir. Very passionate caller. Because census after census, they produce the same results. I mean, there's a particular community over, I think, in Vieux-Fort North, seen as a backward community. Little development takes place there. Reference has been made to Canaries. I think recently somebody pointed me to a community, Roseau. When we on our way to Jackmel and Ancillary, we see those houses that are there. and you know, the squalor that exists in that particular community and other communities in St. Lucia. I think that we're just too tolerant. As a people, we talk too much. And as soon as we, highlight a particular issue, we speak about it, we feel relieved. And we believe that's the end of our concern. We ought not to take it to another level. As the caller was just saying, communities like canneries, those communities have been ignored. For whatever reason, those people are taken for granted. To a certain extent, your ancillary and some other parts of the island. So we must not always blame the politicians. I think from time to time, you need to blame yourself as people, as residents, as constituents, as voters. I think when you engage in that kind of self-blame, when you blame yourself for something, then I think at some point in time, you feel that you've had enough, and then you need to act, to improve your lot, to improve your conditions. And I don't know what it will take for certain communities to realize that they are underrepresented. They are not represented properly by their various MPs. I mean, people are complaining ever so often about the state of the roads in some communities without human resource centers, etc., etc. We don't even have to name those areas where that kind of deficiency does exist. But I think as voters, as residents, as constituents, as St. Lucians, blame yourself. Complain about, for years now, we've been complaining about the shortage service that's being provided by financial institutions in St. Lucia. Call NewsSpin, complain about the same thing. ATM machines not working. You go up there, not working. You go to town, it's not working. And 3 days would elapse, and you believe on the 4th day you go to that ATM, it will be functioning. No, it is still not functioning. And you go to the bank, long lines, we are just being taken for granted because people know that we will not do anything about it. Blah, 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 complain, nothing happens, and we just suffer in silence. Still to come, the tourism industry and the contribution that it is making to our development, but the threat that it is being subjected to, in particular, the nation's crime problem. This is the most monitored talk show in the world, NewsSpin.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make alive. With Bouteille and Beaufort. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. What's the service you get when Lazarus takes charge? Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
Lucilec's remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593, 285-3329, or 285-8640. Or send an email to customersupport@lucilec.com for assistance. Lucilec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Catch the new vibe and the lingo. More upon more so the tingo. Is more with flow if you didn't know. All these deals is a winner. More upon more with flow. More data, more talk for sure. More WhatsApp. WhatsApp, video cast app, unlimited talk, so you not stop chat.
Flow prepaid combo plans just got better. Loaded with even more data and unlimited talk. Take advantage of WhatsApp and all its features with our new prepaid plans. Unleash your creativity with more social media. Dial *129 $ to activate.
Now that's the new vibe in the lingo. Yes. More pan more say the tingo. It's more with flow now you really know. Catch you now. All these deals make you save more. Get more.
In these modern times, the field of medicine has become so advanced that no one has to suffer any longer before they can be seen by a specialist doctor. La Clinique du Corps is proud to be the only healthcare provider in St. Lucia to offer the best and most experienced specialist doctors who are capable to first correctly diagnose and then successfully treat health conditions such as chronic back pain, spinal injury, sciatica, numbness, lupus, arthritis, joint pain, facial nerve pain, knee, heel and shoulder pain, cramps and carpal tunnel syndrome. Also available at La Clinique du Corps, complete nerve test, nerve injury, muscle disease. All health insurances are accepted at La Clinique du Corps. So walk again pain-free with La Clinique du Corps. To book an appointment, please call 51655. WhatsApp 721-9950.
Automotive art is a place to start.
Yeah, look, check. We got a wide range of products that are automotive and do-it-yourself supplies if you got a moment. Smart staff that'll always know it. Got rims and tires from trucks to high performance to off-road. Start hair tools, batteries, oil, and car care.
Automotive art is a place to start.
Craving an unforgettable experience? Immerse yourself in pulsating rhythms. Libate your palates with the finest booze. It's Rhythm and Booze, a jazz Sunday unlike any other. Indulge in a breakfast-inclusive event at the Sandals Golf and Country Club, May 12th from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. Dance to the sounds of St. Lucia's hottest DJs and savor your favorite breakfast dishes. Rhythm and Booze. Get your early bird tickets now for $150, $175 regular. Available at all sell outlets and eventbrite.com. Don't miss this unforgettable Jazz Sunday. Rhythm and Booze. Sandals Golf and Country Club, May 12th. Rhythm and Booze. This event is powered by Chairman's Reserve, JB Chenet, and KFC.
Suffrage Jazz, the ultimate experience. On the fringe of St. Lucia Jazz, yet taking main focus is Suffrage Jazz, the ultimate experience. Featuring Taunton legend, Future Lights, Robzai and Finesse, TYP, Ricky T, Jefferson John, Headliners, Nyla Blackman. Skinny Fabulous, Taurus Riley.
She's royal, yeah, so royal.
Presented by the Sufra Event Management Organization. Sunday, May 5th at the Sufra Mini Stadium from 3 p.m. General admission, $130 EC. VIP, $400 EC. Get your tickets at fourcirclestickets.com. SRDF, The Cell, Sufra Jazz, the ultimate experience.
Hey guys, guess what? Because your dad deserves more, Europa is giving more. You're bringing back the wow on Friday, June 14th with the very popular Culture Day for Father's Day. Last year was a blast and this year will be explosive. So fathers, stepfathers, grandfathers, all the dads of St. Lucia and all the moms who stand for dad, we are knocking out 15% discount on all pressure washers, vacuum cleaners, upholstery cleaners, in fact, on all carton machines. And that's not all. With turbo impact drills, rotary hammer drills, angle grinders, power saws, jigsaws, and sanders too. This year we are throwing the kitchen sink out for dads.
Missy, ça non vlog pour like the week.
Europa June 14th. I'm not.
Back to the calls. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Term.
Good afternoon to you, Rick Wayne. People have been asking in the chat room, we want to hear Rick Wayne.
They always asking for me. They always asking for me, and then they can't handle me. I remember the days when they, Rick, you should run for office, or blah, blah, blah. And my answer was always the same. If I were lucky enough or unlucky enough to find myself in a position of power in this country, I would last no more than about 6 weeks. Because I would take the steps needed to put this country on a different track. And I wouldn't give a damn if, in fact, I was booted out, just like I did in the Senate, St. Lucia Senate, at the time of the Helen affair. And I know most people listening to this, and that is so depressing, Tim, so damn depressing. I have been listening very, very carefully since the Alex George thing, and listening to all the comments, Tim. I want to confess to you, Tim, a certain particular perversity of mine. Every now and again, I go through bound volumes of the Star newspaper, especially from the 90s, because we actually started in 87, I think. Well, no, before that, because we had different lives. For real, we started in 87. That's when we had my own press, etc. And when I look back, Tim, front page stories, a gentleman called Spooner, he was a bodybuilder here, not the one who was overseas, a local one.
Yeah.
And he had his little daughter finally. First he just talked, almost not mentioning names and so on and so on.
I think this guy was a security guard.
Yeah.
At Radio St. Lucia when I worked there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that young man had a little daughter of 6 who had been brutally raped. And he couldn't get anything going with the police, with the courts, with the law. Could not. Babies found in toilet pits, dug out of toilet pits where their mothers had dumped them. Children whose hands were put into boiling water, children of 2 and 3, to teach them a lesson. We have been living like animals for a long time, Tim. And all we do is pretend to be otherwise, because you cannot have a country in the mess we have unless the country has a license to operate like that. In other words, whoever is running the country at the particular time would dare not run a country like that unless they were confident that they had the license of the people, or at least the majority of the people, to do that. So what we do, what we have been doing for years and years and years, is to license our elected personnel to treat us like dogs. Did you hear me right?
Yeah.
To treat us like people with no rights. So our courts don't work, and we moan about it on Tim's show. The registry is an office. Does that still exist, the registry, Tim?
It does, yes.
At least in name. All of those government departments on which we depend to live a civilized life, to live a life without too much stress, more than we normally have for eating and so on and so on. And we've been going through that, prime minister after prime minister after prime minister. We have complained about their morals. We've complained about suspicions about them. Complain. From the time I got here in 87 to now, the complaints are only more common because now you have Facebook and you have your show and you have that kind. That's the only reason. In my time, when I went into before I went into semi-retirement, I was more than a journalist, Tim. So whatever successes we had, and there are a lot of successes where cases did appear before the courts, where there were inquiries, when mainly the Star was pushing. I don't think I'm bragging in saying that. I think you will agree with that. I think most people will agree with that.
Yeah.
Even Calix George, to whom I'll come to in a minute, when he said I got in trouble with Rick Wayne, that's what he's talking about. So, like I say, I look through those volumes, and I say either we can't help ourselves, or we are in fact a lower order of animals. We are, in fact, you had a big plural, inclusive. We are, in fact, either we're pretending to be, or we are, in fact, a lower order of animal than we believe. You know, which brings me to something that happened. I won't take too much time because your people, they don't focus. They like the Eric Wayne, but only for 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 3. And if I stay a little longer, it's because you're scared of me, and I don't know what impact those threats have on you or those accusations have on you, etc. I think
None
I'm
at all,
welcome.
Rick. None at all.
I think I'm welcome to come back to DBS anytime I want. I think so. Thanks to
Junior.
Linda.
And Junior.
Junior and Linda, I think I'm welcome. But again, I have to weigh those things. I have problems walking comfortably. Everything else is in fine shape, especially the brain. And my sensibilities are as sensitive as ever. That's why I get offended when I hear stupidity and false arguments. And I know people overseas are listening to us and thinking, what neck of the woods or the jungle do these people still exist? Okay. Last week, Leonard Montour, who is an athlete and is interested in sports, you know that?
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yes, of course.
He has a sports background. He's very interested in sports. Just like Red Pereira, whose name I haven't called in a long time, etc. That man Montour was referencing, after another person had done it, the fact that a politician's car had been used and in effect turned the national recognition of Ms. Alfred, national recognition, had turned it in fact into a partisan affair. So by using a particular MP's car. And he went on to talk about people who have also made a world reputation for sport. And I was flattered to hear him mention my name because that doesn't normally come up, right?
Yeah.
The last person who said Rick Wayne was a world champion a number of times was Red Pereira about 10 years ago at a function. Because people don't like those kind of facts. You see, we have in this country, Tim, another disease.
Don't digress.
To say Walcott is a fantastic writer, and to say it after the whole world, the universe, has acknowledged it, to say it in St. Lucia is to recognize that you have no talent as in literary talent. You know, that's how we think, Tim. If we're going to say Walcott is a great writer, what we are telling ourselves is we can't write like Walcott. That renders us inferior to Walcott. That is the way we are, so we don't pay compliments. That's why I'm so wary, and you know that, of people paying me compliments, unless they have done things themselves, and I know they're in a position to give a compliment, not just kiss my butt. Mm-hmm. I'm using the St. Lucian phrase. Because the same guy who tells you you're a great writer today because you wrote something he liked. He liked for reasons nothing to do with literary skills. Tomorrow you write something that displeases him and has nothing to do with the writing per se. He will suddenly call you the worst name in the world. You know?
Yeah.
You know that?
Mm-hmm.
Tim, I need you to acknowledge those things.
Rick, I understand. I know that. I know that because I go.
That's why I need you to acknowledge it.
I go through the same problem from time to time.
You are in the same boat.
Okay, somebody would call me.
I don't want to.
Somebody would call me from time to time and say. Somebody would call me from time to time and say I had a great program today because I said something maybe that would please them.
That's
and
right.
next week, they'll think I'm the worst talk show host in St. Lucia. Why I'm still on the radio? Why I'm television, etc.
Good. Or you're sanctimonious. Yeah. You have no sins. Everybody knows I've said I have every sin. I'm loaded with sins. How many times do I have to say that? I've said also I have never sought out to be anybody's model because I am vulnerable. I am not near perfect, only in some things. I'm perfect in some things. So if you want to talk about me and my prowess, name those things that I am perfect at and say you admire first, but don't say I want to be like Rick Wayne. And I have said that many, many, many times. So when by the way, I listened to her very carefully last week. I don't want to spend much time on her, but it is connected with the psyche of St. Lucia. She started off in her little high voice, but before she was ended, she was talking deeper than I. The voice had gone deeper than mine. So, context. The woman called up, not mentioning any names. She's correct, and underscore that point, Tim. I want you to remember it. She named no names because she tells you that later on.
Rick, you making reference to the exchange you had with the lady?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Rick...
there's a reason, Tim. It's not small and petty. Mm-hmm. No, it is connected to a bigger picture.
Okay.
Well, if you want, I can abandon it and move on to the other one.
Yeah, I think you should move on to the other one.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to make one point on that. Yeah. I never called a woman a whore. I would never call anybody a whore. I was saying something to you about people who hide behind dark curtains and make weird people who are putting their neck on the block. Like you are every day on your show, and everybody can call and curse you, and some of your worst cussers can be the worst devils, but you don't know who they are, Tim.
Yeah.
And but they get off, like people who write anonymous letters, or people who fake their names on Facebook. They can call people who are well known all kinds of names. But how are you gonna respond when they have no name, no face? It's a voice behind a curtain. So my exact words to you was that you can stay behind your dark curtain, and you can something. I have it written down. But you can call anybody the worst whore in the world from behind your dark curtain. Okay, that's what I said. So. I did not say the woman was a whore, any more than I ever said Richard Frederick was a mongrel. I never said that. Any more than I ever said anybody was a hyena. So we are persistent and consistent in those kind of things because we lack some kind of sensibility. Which brings me now to my friend, Calix George. My take on Calix George, as usual, will be totally different, and it doesn't mean it's right. It's right for me. I can tell you 100 nice things about Calix George. I can tell you a number of things personal that Calix George stood up for me when the throng was against me in every way. Because Calix George is a very intelligent man. So when I heard you saying yesterday, Friday, that he should apologize. All those other people who that's all they can ever think about, calling on people to apologize. Yeah. That's the easy way out.
But I never asked him to apologize. I never did.
Yeah, but you had a lot of those. Mm-hmm. That's what we do here. The biggest thing we can do is call on people to apologize. So what? I have another story on that, but it's another time. About apologies.
Okay, but what you thought of the statement?
I know I'm taking your time.
No, time's against us.
I know the time factor, and you're going to get beaten up, but I gave you 3 days of not calling at all.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I was not surprised, taken aback, but not surprised, especially when I thought about it. Because Calix George was correct, and it shows my consistency, that way back in 1998, when he called somebody in the whole hoo-ha about changing the laws regarding communications, cable and wireless, and so on, where he referred to a person or some people. And in 1998, where he referred to that person as a house slave. And I took him on there, and not for the reasons you would think of, Tim, if somebody called you black man, another black guy in St. Lucia, Tim, you black man, would you be insulted?
No.
Eh?
No.
You wouldn't be, right?
No, I wouldn't.
So why does another, when a slave calls you a house slave, you're insulted?
So what do you say there?
When a fellow slave, because Calix is a fellow slave, okay? We all supposedly descendants of slaves, so it's the same family, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tim, we spit in our faces all the time, you know. Calix George is a slave descendant to one degree or another. Rick Wayne is, they tell me. So are you, Tim. So is everyone in St. Lucia, they tell me. All right? So when Calix George said that Alan, and you keep on editing Calix, what Calix says, he's a fucking slave master, but you keep editing that out. Yes, that's what he said, which indicated his anger, to me, indicated anger. But then he described Alan, he justified calling Alan Chastney a slave master by his demeanor. You know what demeanor means to him? By the look on your face and by the way he talks. Which is to say, where Calix is concerned, a house slave is in the eye of the beholder. The guy who is judging Alan Chastney because he stands up and talks and insists on getting what he thinks is right, you call him a house slave by his demeanor. Another guy looks at that and he thinks it's very much a lot of self-confidence. One guy standing up against 17, insisting on his rights, even if he's thrown out of the house. Martin Luther King broke the law in the interest of freedom, you know. He broke all those apartheid-type laws in the interest of freedom. Those are the discussions we need to have, Tim, and all your people who want me to talk for 2 seconds. I'm getting less and less interested in calling because I cannot say what I have to say. And they say to me, well, go run a show, as if, again, I am doing myself a favor and not them.
Well, I think, Rick, the comment that you're making there, it appears to be very, it's long-winded, it's complicated as well.
Long-winded?
And hold on, Rick, and I think you're hedging because when you say that somebody, that you describe Alan Chastney as a slave master, in the context that people already see him as being white, okay?
People
hold on, and then they move on to say that he's a slave master.
Tim, you don't have to explain that to me. I understand it perfectly. I am saying to you, the Calix George I know, I was not surprised when he did it. There are consequences, and he's paying those consequences. But I'm also telling you a message for the wider audience who feel so hurt when somebody calls them a white slave.
Yeah, but what I wanted from you is directly, how do you interpret his statement?
As far as I'm concerned, Calix can say what the hell he wants. And as far as I'm concerned, it's for the people to look at it, analyze it properly. Do they want to tolerate having a knight who speaks like that? Do they want to tolerate a prime minister who facilitates that kind of stuff? That's for them to determine. But I'm not going to get all emotional over some words because I, too, am very loose with my words, and I do it deliberately. I use certain words to scratch you so you can react and we can discuss a point. So I was not offended by what Calix said. As a matter of fact, I called Calix George afterward and had a long conversation with him. A long debate on civilized conversation.
But I disagree with you when you say that you are loose with your words. You are not known to be somebody who is loose with your words. Okay, so
I am not loose. I use it because people.
You're not loose with your words.
I'm very careful. Thank you very much for that. I am very, very careful. But I'm going to say also that the fact that Calix George repeated that line, and we first heard from him publicly in 1998, is because he has certain beliefs, and demeanor is what determines for Calix George what is a slave master. Because the person he called a slave house, whatever he called her, was not a white person, was not a half white either. So he told us very clearly he judged Alan Chastney by his demeanor and how he speaks in the House. And then the people, now here we go now. He called the people, it wasn't, Alan was a slave master by that measure, and the people, according to Calix, were house slaves. Well, if you feel offended about it, you house slaves out there, do something about it. But don't expect me to sing on that song because I have my views on that too. And I am very much a champion of freedom of speech, even when it offends, because that's when freedom of speech matters, you know. But you can have freedom of speech, and when you speak, you tell the whole world who you are. You get me?
Yeah, I get that point.
And if the whole world now didn't know that Calix had certain views about black people in a certain situation, they know now.
And white people too in a certain, and white people too in a certain situation, which if we interpret it directly, which makes him a racist.
Well, don't just call him a racist. If it offends you, do something about it. That's the point I want to make. If St. Lucians cannot handle racists in office or whatever, and by the way, I have heard a lot of people seem to think that when black people speak like racists, they're not racist. You know, when black people tell you that we don't want no white man, whether he's born here or not, to be our prime minister, that is criminal according to the Constitution.
Yeah.
But we brag about it and do nothing. I am fed up with St. Lucians being offended for 10 days and never acting. That's why I told you the whole story about the oak volumes of the Star. I see all of those stories there, horrific stories, most of them unresolved to this day. Up to now, nobody wants to look into what Kenny Anthony told you, that the criminality in this country is facilitated by people in high office. Nobody wants to go there. So get killed. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much.
Am I angry? Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Somebody says there, tell Rick it's time to stop troops making damn excuses. That's the broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening to another edition of the most monitored talk show in the world. My name is Timothy Poleon. Continue to enjoy your Monday. Here's hoping it's a productive one, and we'll be back tomorrow afternoon, same time, 12:30, with another edition of NewsSpin. Goodbye.